Just when you thought the Michigan Spygate saga was over, the university announced it's going to appeal the NCAA sanctions against them. And we think Michigan might win. Tell you why. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. And, of course, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below, and that way you'll never miss a single episode. Plus, share, like, and follow, because it really helps us out. We always appreciate that as well. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So, Michigan is appealing this whole thing that came down on Friday from the NCAA from Spygate. We'll explain. Plus, the Big Ten now wants a 28-team college football playoff. 28 teams. This is ridiculous. We're going to get into this a little bit. Plus, the latest recruiting news and our top 10 observations from the weekend. Those are always fun. So, the Michigan sign stealing scandal is not over, after all. Friday, the NCAA Committee on Infractions laid out its punishment for the school, for Michigan, after investigating the school for over a year, following the world-famous Connor Stalions Spygate affair. We jumped on the air. We did a podcast right away. If you missed it, go back up for Friday, maybe Friday, Saturday. If you get a chance to check it out, you can do so. But Michigan, within 5 hours, announced that it will be appealing this ruling. Remember, this investigation has been going on since 2023, 2024, had the hearing in June, had to wait a couple of months for this verdict, and now Michigan's going to appeal this thing. And by the way, they're also threatening legal action. So this thing is long from over. So quick recap. The NCAA imposed a series of fines on Michigan football that could total more than $30 million when it's all said and done. Sherrone Moore, he, of course, was the offensive coordinator for Michigan in 2023. Now the head coach had those 52 text messages between him and Connor Stalions that he deleted. And, of course, Connor Stalions, the mastermind of the whole Spygate saga. Those messages were retrieved and recovered, and part of the investigation. Didn't really provide the smoking gun, if you will, at least not that big of a smoking gun, enough for there to be more than a 1-game suspension added on to the 2-game self-imposed suspension that Michigan is already giving Sherrone Moore for weeks 3 and 4 this season. But the 1-gamer will be week 1 next year, 2026. Interesting. Very weird, I think, that part, that they moved that to next year. By the way, the first game of 2026 it's going to be against Western Michigan and is likely going to take place in Frankfurt, Germany, across the pond. More on that in a minute. Sherrone Moore also received a 2-year show cause. If he were to ever leave Michigan, he could not coach anywhere else for 2 years in college football. And you may have heard over the weekend now that the NCAA also levied a 10-year show cause penalty on former coach Jim Harbaugh and an 8-year show cause penalty on the Spygate mastermind Connor Stalions, who was a Michigan staffer at the time. And depending who you believe, Stalions was contrite and fell on the sword at the hearing in June. I don't know. I don't know what good it did. I mean, he got 8 years, that's for sure. Harbaugh got 10. Sherrone Moore gets 1 game plus the 2-year show cause. So I don't know what the NCAA thought about that. Now, as you know, Harbaugh is coaching the Chargers now. But this 10-year show cause will be on top of the 4-year show cause already in effect for Burgergate. So Harbaugh, if he ever wanted to return to college football, couldn't do it for 14 years. That's the year 2038. And he would be like 75 years old. So I'm calling it a lifetime ban on Jim Harbaugh. Nobody else is really saying I'm the first one. I'll say that. It's a lifetime ban on Jim Harbaugh. So Michigan will also face a reduction of recruiting visits, not scholarships. We don't do that anymore. Plus, I don't know what reduction of scholarships, what good it would do with money, revenue share, name, image, like you can always offer a kid enough money to pay for his classes. But there will be a reduction of recruiting visits and recruiting communications with recruits during a new 4-year probation that's going on. So they have to deal with that. They'll have to work in and out of that. Buckeyes fans and you Michigan haters out there, you've been clamoring feverishly for months now, over a year, that the hammer was going to fall on Michigan and disseminate the entire program. And you're going to be sorely disappointed in this, right? This is largely a financial fine. There will be no postseason ban. Michigan's 2023 national championship still stands. No victories vacated here. That's what a lot of you are clamoring for. So what exactly is Michigan appealing here? The university released a statement within 5 hours of this verdict on Friday, and they accuse the NCAA of misinterpreting its own bylaws. Basically, it's saying the NCAA is doing things here they don't even have the right to do. It said that the NCAA came to a number of its conclusions that are flat out wrong and based on evidence or even lack of evidence on the record. Remember, the NCAA laid everything out in their notice of allegations. Here, Michigan, here's what we found that you have done wrong. Let's have this hearing in June. We'll hear your side of the story, but here's what we're looking at, and then we'll come up with our decision. Michigan says, based on the information, that there's no evidence. So they're very accusatory toward the NCAA still. It's not like they're going to accept this, lay down, and move on. They're going to fight this thing. The university went on to say it will appeal this decision. This is in the statement 5 hours afterward. And they also said they will consider all other options. Hello, that means lawsuit. This thing's long from over. Now, I do have a serious question that both Michigan fans and Michigan haters should both be asking. If Michigan feels that they have been wronged and they're appealing all of this, then what do they give Sherrone Moore a 2-game self-imposed suspension for? I mean, they admitted they did something wrong, right? So did they feel that the 2-gamer was just sufficient? Like, hey, we did some things wrong. Let's give our guy a 2-game suspension and we're done. Then the NCAA comes on, adds $20 to $30 million of fines and gives Sherrone Moore an extra game and all these show causes. This is what Michigan is appealing and fighting, right? These are tough questions that have to be answered. But I will say this, if this does go to court and Michigan can prove, which it claims it can, that the NCAA exceeded its ability by their own bylaws, and if they could prove that they were punished for things that there's no hard evidence for, then maybe they have a chance to make this whole thing go away. I mean, because if it goes to court, now we're beyond just the NCAA and Michigan fighting. Now the court's coming in with the decision. And if Michigan can make the NCAA look bad here, because they didn't dot their I's and cross their T's, maybe Michigan runs the clock on this thing and beats the rap in court. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. So also another thing to remember here, this is the last case that the NCAA has any authority over. And the House settlement this past summer took such discipline powers away from the NCAA when it created the College Sports Commission. So this is the last hurrah for the NCAA. If this thing drags on for years, I mean, who knows how it's going to go. This will be the time that we get the comments from you guys, Michigan fans and Michigan haters. Here we go. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. Hit us up with the comments on YouTube. Also, if you don't mind, hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. That helps us out a lot as well. We also have a website, talkbig10.com. We put all of our podcasts there, and there are links for you to buy merchandise. If you're a Michigan fan, get your shirts, T-shirts, and hats and pennants. Get ready for the 2025 season. Get them proudly right there at talkbig10.com. If you're a Michigan hater and you like other teams, your team's merchandise is there too. Talkbig10.com. All right. Lots we got to get to here still outside of this Michigan story with the NCAA. First of all, some dumb news. The Big Ten is now floating a 24 to 28 team college football playoff format. We went from trying to argue how we were going to get to 16 teams and automatic qualifiers. Now it's like, oh, let's just have 28 teams. I'll explain it. I'm not going to be very kind about this. This is a dumb idea. We got some recruiting news from Michigan. It's bad. Oregon, Michigan State, USC and UCLA going after the same kid, plus a quarterback battle at Purdue. All that coming up here in 1 minute on Locked On Big Ten. Drip drop. Love talking about drip drop. You got to stay very busy with your routine and lots going on. That may include workouts, long days, and maybe you're going back to classes, you're at work all day. Hydration. You got to stay hydrated. That's where Drip Drop comes in. Drip Drop is a doctor-developed and scientifically proven product for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of the leading sports drink. All right? My favorite flavor, peach, always a go-to. Love it. Game changer. And they're easy to carry. Just a few little packets with you in your backpack, your work, however you bring your stuff with you all day long. It's right there. It's easy to get to. You can avoid that midday crash. Right now, Drip Drop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Just head to dripdrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's dripdrop.com. Promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat starts hitting hard. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten, your first listen every day. Thank you. You everydayers out there, thank you as well. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you for that as well. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And don't forget our website, talkbig10.com, for our podcast and school merchandise. So the Big Ten and the SEC seem no closer to wielding their power together and coming up with some sort of agreement on a 16-team college football playoff format for 2026 and on. And, of course, people are arguing about automatic qualifiers and whatnot. The Big Ten is now proposing a stupid mega college football playoff with 24 to 28 teams in a plan that would eliminate the conference championship game. It would give the Big Ten like 7 automatic qualifiers. This is just getting more and more ridiculous. I'm going to focus tomorrow's podcast on this very topic tomorrow. You know me, I'm a big fan of the Big Ten, obviously. I'm largely pro Big Ten on everything they want to do. Root for everybody to do well, root for as many Big Ten teams in the playoffs as possible. I love holding the championships over the SEC. But this is a dumb idea. And we're going to get into that tomorrow as well. I mean, every day, as you know, that I'm against any kind of playoff expansion, whether it be for college football or the NCAA basketball tournament. The geniuses there want to expand that to 76 and 96 teams. It's more is not better. It's not better. So we'll do a deep dive on this a little bit more in tomorrow's Locked On Big Ten podcast. So make an appointment to check us out there. And again, I'll give you a hint. I'm not going to be favorable about this. So on to recruiting. The Oregon Ducks have been absolutely on fire for 2026. Now we've been watching their rankings move up each week. They're like top 3 now for this class of 2026. And that's because they got 4 5-star recruits. Most schools don't get any 5 stars, let alone getting 4. That's pretty spectacular. But they might lose one of those 5 stars. Maybe. One to keep an eye on. 5-star edge, Anthony Tate Jones. We were talking about him last week. He's from Alabama. He's on Flip Watch. He's the number 1 ranked player in the state of Alabama, and both the Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers don't want him to leave the state. They are both going to recruit him and try to flip him. Going to take a bit of a slower approach. All right. They realize he's made his verbal commitment. Give him his space. Invite him to a few visits and a few games locally at Auburn and or Alabama over the season and hope to flip him by signing day. That's the strategy there. That's what Dan Lanning and the Ducks need to watch out for. Okay. Michigan lost out on the number 1 kid in the state of Michigan. 4-star athlete CJ Sadler. He chose Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels over the Wolverines. In high school, he just won the state title this past year. He plays wide receiver. He plays defensive back. He plays kick return. He rarely leaves the field. And he says he's going to play both sides of the ball. He said all the final schools that were in the mix all said, yeah, let's talk about you playing on both sides of the ball. So they said, cool. But he's going to go do it for Bill Belichick in North Carolina. Meanwhile, Michigan defensive line commit Alistair Vallejo. He's been getting a lot of attention from other schools trying to flip him, but he says, hey, I am still solidly in the Michigan camp. All right. Let's talk about USC and UCLA. They're going for the same kid in their backyard who's committed somewhere else. This is for class of 2027. It's 4-star in-state safety Khalil Terry. Now, Terry was a Michigan State recruit until he wasn't earlier this summer. He said earlier, being in California, he really didn't like USC that much. It was more of a fan thing. He was a UCLA guy. And he says he's slowly been growing relationships with USC people and their staff, and he's liking them more and more. Now, one feather in UCLA's camp for this kid is the situation. Michigan State's former secondary coach, Demetrius Martin, he left Michigan State. This is the kid that recruited him to Michigan State, got him to commit to Michigan State. He left. Now he's on the UCLA staff, keeping that relationship going. He was very involved in getting him to commit to Michigan State. Now he's going to get him to flip like he did to Michigan, to UCLA, perhaps. But again, USC is all over. Speaking of Michigan State, they're looking to flip a 2026 running back. And frankly, they kind of need to. They offered Pittsburgh commit and 4-star running back Damon Ferguson. He's 16th rated running back in the class. And Jonathan Smith and his staff, they've had some nice wins on the recruiting trail, but they've struggled at the running back position for the 2026 class. They lost a 4-star in-state kid in Corey Amatri to Kansas. I believe he was a legacy, too, if I'm not mistaken. And they lost 3-star Detroit native Michael Dukes, who committed to Toledo before flipping to Rutgers. So they need a running back for the class of 2026. All right, let's talk some Purdue football for a minute. Barry Odom, new coach there. He's the only new coach of the Big Ten, so everything is new. They only have one returning starter from last year. So everything's up with a clean slate, up for grabs. And let's start with the quarterback position. They got 4 guys, and they're rotating them all. You got Ryan Brown, Malachi Singleton, Evans Chiba, and Bennett Meredith. And Barry Odom has been mixing and matching. They've been playing with all team, first team, second team, third team. He's been rotating them all. Doesn't have a number one guy. And he want to give everybody equal footing. So everybody's got a clean slate and a chance. But we're getting deeper into camp. It's getting to be time to maybe get closer to making a decision, or at least get a 2 deep going on the depth chart. I remember from last year, one of the few bright spots that Purdue had was when Ryan Brown, one of these 4 quarterbacks, was a backup, stepped in for the injured Hudson Card, made his first career start versus 23rd ranked Illinois, and had 415 total yards, including 297 through the air. They only to lose the game in overtime. But I'm thinking, with that kind of production, there's got to be some there. Anyway, he would be my pick. Ryan Brown. We'll see who Barry Odom picks to start off the season for the Purdue Boilermakers. From Purdue football to Purdue basketball. 4-star big man, Jamin Sondrup. He's a class of 2026 recruit. 4-star. He's narrowed his list of schools down to a half dozen. Purdue is on that list. He is a 6'9" center from Utah. And another Big Ten school on his list is also Washington, by the way. BYU, Mississippi State, Utah Valley. I mean, it looks like the kid's leaning towards staying out west with Washington and BYU and Utah Valley all on his short list. And he's from Utah. Maybe he wants to stay close to home. Purdue would be far away. Mississippi State's the other school out there that would be far away. But Purdue has been on this kid for a long time. And Matt Painter is an excellent recruiter. And they offered him last year in the summer of 2024. So we'll see. Last year, this kid in high school averaged 16 points, almost 10 rebounds, and shot 61% from the floor. And his numbers were down a skosh from the year before. So he's got the ability to really produce some big-time number. I think the year before he averaged 19 points a game. And maybe an extra rebound per game as well. So that's a kid to keep an eye on for Purdue basketball. All right. We always have daily features at the end of our podcast. We're always excited to share with you. You guys really like them. Mondays, we always do our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. That's next. We have our Tuesday tweets. We'll do that tomorrow. Hit us up right now on Twitter or X at Talk Big Ten. Wednesdays, we power rank stuff. Thursdays are Big Ten classics. Fridays, we make picks. So, having said all that, our top 10 observations are going to be Big Ten alums in the NFL. Preseason football continues. We did this last week. It was fun. I wanted to do it again. That's all coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Hey, have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with some friends, family, and, it's game day and somebody's got to buy the tickets? That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without any stress. You're good. You're good. You want to go? You go, because you can get the tickets. So, and you save money on the tickets through Game Time. That means you can splurge on the food and the parking and all that, drinks, all that good stuff up there. Game Time makes all this possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices, actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. If you want to go to a baseball game, maybe you want to go to a college football game. Big Ten getting fired up for football just in a few weeks. They got incredible last-minute deals. The clear seat views. You can see the view of the seat of the ticket you're about to buy right there on your app, your phone. It takes the worry out of buying. So Game Time, by the way, is the official ticketing partner of a Locked On MLB, making it easy for you to get MLB tickets for any specific game you want to go to. I always like Tiger baseball. That would be cool. If you're tired of endless scrolling, find the best deal out there with their zone deals. And again, the seat views right there on your phone. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, it's time now for our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Now, I'm going to put up a list. We're going to do them one at a time, 10 through 1. Now, this week, it's not a ranking. It's more of a grouping, more of a cluster. All right, so we'll start off here, and we'll go full screen if you're audio only. And the first one I want to mention is UCLA alum Zach Charbonnet, the running back with Seattle. Only 5 carries, but 45 yards, a 9-yard per carry average. I thought it was pretty impressive. I thought it was worth a mention here in our observations from the weekend. Also, Iowa alum, remember running back Caleb Johnson, now with the Steelers. Now, they lost to Tampa Bay here this weekend, but he's starting to warm up. Had 11 carries, 50 yards, 4.5-yard average, and I think he is just going to be phenomenal this year in that Steelers offense. Once they get rolling here this season. They like to run the ball. He's a good, powerful running back. Just a great fit, I think, for the Pittsburgh offense. Also, Illinois alum Pat Bryant, who finished off strong last year at Illinois with Luke Altmaier. Now he's a wide receiver at Denver. They got a win over Arizona. He had 4 catches for 70 yards, including a 29-yard catch in that game. Wanted to mention that, some of our observations over the weekend. Also, Oregon alum Tez Johnson. He had 4 catches in the Bucs win over the Steelers. So he's getting warmed up. They got a nice group. Remember McMillan from Washington the year before? So it's not just Evans and Godwin. The future, I think the future wide receiver room is set there in Tampa Bay. He's going to be part of it. And I think that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. Also, we'll get to Aneka Egbuka, speaking of receivers, in just a minute. How about Oregon alum Dylan Gabriel? Yeah, he was part of the. He got to play in the Browns game this weekend, and he got the win over Philadelphia. He was 13 of 18. He did throw interception, and we sacked twice. It wasn't great, but he's got out there. He completed some passes. And, the Cleveland quarterback situation has just been in the news all summer long. It's a 4-way battle over there. So we'll see what happens with him. USC alum Woody Marks, running back for the Texans, and their win against Carolina. 7 catches for 40 yards. I'm sorry, 7 runs for 40 yards, averaging 5.7 yards per carry. That will get it done on any given day. They will like him. I think he's going to have a pretty good year with big plans for them. As I mentioned, Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka had a nice 5-yard touchdown, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful in the corner of the end zone. It was great. He is going to have a great rookie year this year. Speaking of Ohio State, alum C.J. Stroud, can't believe it's going to year 3 now. He's with the Texans against Carolina. Just a quick little keep the rust off, 6 for 8, a touchdown, very efficient. Looking to have a big year out of him this year. Also, we mentioned it again. This was high on it. And again, this is more of a grouping than a ranking. But last week, TreVeyon Henderson returned the first time he touched the ball for the Patriots in a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. This week, TreVeyon Henderson had 4 carries, 20 yards, scored a touchdown. The guy's got a nose for the NFL, for the end zone. I think he's going to have a great career. And then also on the list, Michigan alum Roman Wilson from a couple of years ago from the national championship team. Haven't heard too much out of him during his rookie year. Had 2 catches for 72 yards, including a 42-yarder, even though his Steelers lost to Tampa Bay this weekend. So again, this isn't a ranking per order. It's just a grouping of 10. Thought I'd put it on there. Did I miss anything? Any Big Ten alum jump out at you over the NFL this past weekend with preseason? This is what this segment has turned into, I think, for maybe even next Monday. And then once the season starts, it'll be all Big Ten performers over the weekend with our top 10 Big Ten observations. So we look forward to transitioning into the start of the season. That will be fantastic. All right. This was fantastic. Time has flown already. Can't believe it. Stay tuned right here every day. All your Big Ten news, 18 teams, news, analysis of the news, and opinion. We're not afraid to give you our opinion. We're going to give you our opinion tomorrow on this 24 to 28 team college football playoff proposal that the Big Ten is spearheading. And I like it. So we'll do that. I'll look forward to your reaction there. In the meantime, many ways for you to interact with this podcast at Twitter, X, at Talk Big Ten. Don't forget our website, talkbig1010.com for our podcast and merchandise. Before you go, hit that subscribe button. It's free. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And you can share, follow, and like as well. And go back and check out a second episode. Maybe you missed Friday. We threw in an extra weekend podcast on the whole Sherrone Moore, Michigan situation. Check that out as well. Love to hear more of your comments on that as well. And I also invite you for a second listen for our friend Brian Smith of the Portal Show, part of the Locked On family. You can find that on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. That'll do it. It went quick. We'll be back again tomorrow. Can't wait to see you there. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman.